If you're looking for something that is just for 3 days and you're moving to a different location, you're exfiltrating to another location to get to your supply cache or your bug out location, you may consider leaving your good sleeping bag there, your sleep kit there, and getting one of these guys, which is an emergency sleeping bag. This is international orange on the outside, but you can remedy that by throwing leaves over yourself if you're trying to do that stealthy camping type thing. And it is the reflective mylar material on the inside. I'm not sure how well you guys can see that information in there. Very warm. This will get you down to, I think, probably 20 degrees, 10 degrees, but not in the minuses with this. Obviously, once again, it's better that if you don't have a ground pad of any type, that you can use a good bed of leaves to help retain heat and supply you with some loft. You can use spruce branches or pine branches or anything with the bows so that when you lay on it, it kind of adds as a little bit of a spring. But whatever it is, you don't want to sleep on the ground. That's even with this thing right here, the ground gets really cold in a lot of different areas, okay? I'll open that up and look at it for you. This is just garishly orange, gold orange looking like. And then you can see the interior of it here. And you can see that that's got that mylar reflected. So very good at heat retention. It's going to reflect that heat right back on you. But once again, you want to have anything else extra that you've got on. Sleep in your clothes. I don't know that this thing's going to hold up to having your boots inside there. It'll probably tear it up, but those are really important. So those little bags are great.
You're listening to Cleanse, Heal, Ignite podcast, and I'm your hostess, Diane Kaiser, functional diagnostic nutrition practitioner, former pro soccer player, transformational leader, holistic healer, and life purpose coach, helping you and your business awaken to your full potential. We are a transformation tribe of visionaries empowering passion-quenching, heart-centered advice to wellness warrior leaders on self-love, nutrition, mindset, and divorcing perfectionism. Our mission is to help you laugh your way to a sexy belly, love your way to vitality, and live your life with purpose by sharing real talk and truth drops that will help you cleanse your body, heal your hormones, and ignite your life. Side effects of this podcast may include all-day energy, happy hormones, perfect poops, increased confidence, becoming your own best healer, and catching the self-love virus. There's currently no vaccination to protect you from this and no known cure. In most cases, listeners experience a strong desire to accept new challenges, ditch toxic people, follow their heart, and dance like no one's watching. If you experience moods happier than usual, live it unapologetically and share with your social media friends immediately. Mike has an entire list, a whole checklist of what he is going to share with us today. Remember last week, if you guys have been following us in the survivalism series, we have been, every week has been kind of adding on top of the other. So we're developing some momentum here. I gave a speech this last weekend for the World Freedom Rally, and I'm giving another speech this weekend in Sedona. So if you guys are around, a lot of speaking opportunities, because this is the kind of stuff that we really need to get out there, the whole survivalism topic, as well as learning how to become our own best doctor. Because right now, if you go to the doctor's office, you know what they're going to do. They're going to make you jump through a ton of hoops and do PCR tests, maybe vaccines. They're going to probably want to put you on some kind of a ventilator. People are dying in hospitals now. So it's really good that you learn how to be your own medic, healer, and learn how to live off grid like Mike's going to teach us. So last week we did, we talked a lot about the bug out bag and talked a lot about the things that we want to have with us and off grid if we need it. Today, exclusively and specifically, Mike has his whole show and tell. So he's going to show you everything. We got a lot of questions from you guys who just said, can we just see everything? So you asked and you shall receive. And today what I want to do is this entire hour, I'm going to have him show his full bug out bag, answer questions. And I don't want to just have this be for the VIP people. What I want to do is today, if there are any of you who want to join us for the retreat, this is going to help you to get ready for that. So we don't need you to have every single thing that Mike's going to show you today. We're going to talk about the exact things that you're going to need for the retreat in Sedona, October 21st through the 24th. It's only $4.95 for all those days for everything. And you just bring your own stuff, and then Mike and I will take care of the rest. You might have one night that you need to stay at Airbnb that first night, October 21st to 22nd. We're going to go out on the land, and we're talking about all the details, where we're going to do it, etc. So Mike, welcome back.
Good to be back, always.
Yes. Looks like you have a different angle in the office today because I
because I have strategically placed items on this bench next to me here, so I can just, at my wife's suggestion, I wouldn't have thought of this myself. I would have been banging my head against the table trying to pick things up off the floor. So kudos to her on that one. But I've placed things up here so to make it really available. So welcome everybody. It's great to have you guys here again. I am going to go through the basic bug out gear checklist, starting with the backpack. So let's roll right into that.
Hold on, you guys. Hold on. If you just as a reminder, everybody, every time, I'd love to see your guys' comments in the chat. If you have any specific questions that you want Mike or myself to go over, put them in the Q&A. Those are questions that I'm going to be monitoring, so that while Mike's talking, he can just flow. And if there is an appropriate time for me to insert a question, because he's not going to be looking at this Zoom chat the whole time, if there are any specific questions or clarifications that you guys need, it's much easier if you put it in the Q&A section. And then that way I can hit, I've already answered it. If it's in the chat, there's usually a lot of activity and I may miss it. Okay, so I want to make sure that we stay organized as possible here. And if you guys need anything answered about the retreat, any specific questions or comments you have about that, put that in the Q&A section there, because we do want to get some signups, get you guys on. We ideally want to have everybody signed up no later than October 10th, because that way we at least have 11 days to prepare for that. Make sure we know how much that we need to get and prepare for the event itself. So get in early while you can, because you're going to get some extra incentives. And then Mike and I are going to actually have some cool gifts as well, and little awards that you can win while you go to retreat with us. So cool. All right, let's get started.
Okay, so two backpacks that I would recommend. One of them is called a Monkey Packs. It's made by Monkey Packs. It is a 45-liter, 600 Danner nylon type bag. I like this bag for a lot of reasons, all the right reasons. One, it's durable. Two, it does have a waterproof lining. It does have large, aggressive tooth zippers. So, I mean, you could literally zip a neckerchief in this thing and it will still close. It also has flap covers to kind of keep those things out of the weather. Once again, if you want to waterproof those zippers, you can always just use chapstick or some silicone or something on there to kind of make them a little quieter and a little bit more waterproof. It does come with a 2.5-liter hydration bladder and a bite valve that comes with that as well. One of the amazing things about this that really got my attention to it, and I did build a lot of packs for people out of this, is the removable fanny pack here. And this pack can detach from the back. Normally this waist belt right here is attached to the front of the bag here to go around your waist as you're carrying the pack, but it can come off and attach to this fanny pack. It will detach, and now you've got a mobile scout kit that you can put redundant water purification, a little bit of a fishing kit in there, a small bivy sack, or a collapsible like a Mylar type sleeping bag. You could put a Mylar, anything in here, Mylar blanket, whatever. And it goes with you while your main pack stays at base camp, more likely hung up a tree branch so nothing gets curious and decides to go through your pack while you're out scouting around or trying to get the lay of the land. And we'll talk about those tips and tricks when we get to the retreat, because those are really important things. It also has two side pouches, which are detachable, also waterproof, 600 Danner, and you can see those here on these sides right here. All buckles are high quality resin type buckles, so they built to last. A really good bag all the way around. My only drawback for this would be the lack of compartmentalization. So there are not enough little pockets everywhere. I know the fanny pack makes up for a great majority of that, and the side bags do as well. But when we start getting into internal pockets, all you're going to have in there is a little bit of a mesh divider to break things up and to space things out. And, you know, when you start loading these bags up with all the gear that I'm going to show you here, that can get kind of cluttered in here, especially if you're breaking camp for the first day and you're trying to put things back in. We tend to just like, I got to get going and just throw things in here. So I like the compartmentalization because it does keep things neat. If it's dark outside and you forgot your headlamp or your flashlight or whatever the case is, you can still feel around and know where your gear is on that pack, just visualizing it in your head and knowing where the things are stored. So these packs, I think that they went out of business because now I'm seeing replicas of these all over Amazon. But if you look up monkey packs, you'll find the knockoffs, the lookalikes. As far as I can tell, you can see that it is called a tactical military backpack. I'm not trying to, you know, toot the Amazon horn here. There are other places that you can find good packs as well. They run about 60 bucks, I guess. The other one that I do like, and I don't have one here with me, I had a friend of mine that had one that works really well, and that's the EMD MAK, all one word, EMD MAK, as in Mike Alpha Kilo pack. And it's a 42-liter tactical back. It is amazing as far as compartmentalization goes. And you can get a wide range of colors from ACU all the way up to solid black or green, nighttime multicam and daytime multicam. So yeah, and they are really good bags. So if you get a chance, I know normally you have an assistant that's going to flash those up on the screen for you. So if you guys at home get a chance to look up that EMD MAK pack. Okay, so let's start going down the list. We did talk about the Life Straw and the Sawyer filter system last time. Without a doubt, I would carry both and the water purification tablets as well. Okay. It's better to have and not need than to need and not have. So that, plus then you can take one and put one in your side pack or whatever the case is. I know that this is a favorite right here. It's the pink Sawyer filter inline system. I also have a bag filtration system as well. Let me open up this main compartment here in this bag real quick. And there it goes. The first one hits the floor. I'm not getting hands on that right now, unless there it is. Look, I had to go to the floor again. So we do have the bag type, which is basically the Sawyer filter with the compression sack that's in there that allows you to be able to put water in it and then drink straight from the filter, which screws right on top of this. Great system. It comes with a back flush valve right here to clean it out. This item down here fits most water bottles. This threaded outlet right here fits most water bottles. And basically you're just going to put your water in here, and then you're just going to screw that right on top of this. Just like that. Pop off this protective cover valve right here, and then you can just gently squeeze this bag and suck off the top of this right here and get the get whatever liquids you need to do. It comes with a straw as well if you needed to do that. Primarily, this can be attached to the bottom, and you can use this to get into little difficult areas to get to, whether it's water collected in a bowl of a tree. So there's the advantage of having that straw right there as well. Okay, I'm going to pass this off to the side right there for storage. So that pretty much covers water filtration. There is one that I keep in my bag. I keep it in a small vial, and that is potassium permanganate. Okay, it's little red crystals, and I also carry glycerin, Baker's glycerin, with me. Potassium permanganate is good for sterilizing water, killing any types of cryptosporidium, protozoas, giardia, E. coli type bacteria that you can find in drinking water. And that's what it does. It kills those things. Now, of course, you've got other things that are going to be in water, depending on the waterways that you're getting water from. other contaminants, environmental contaminants can be in there, but for the things that are going to give you dysentery, it wipes those things out. Now, the great thing about potassium permanganate is that it also can be serviceable in higher doses mixed with water as a wound cleaner. You can use it as a mouthwash, and you know, even better yet, you can actually take the baker's glycerin and put a drop of it on a small little pile of potassium permanganate, and you get an exothermic reaction, which basically causes it to burn at about 5,000 degrees. So you've got another method, as well as for water purification and sterilization in medical, but you've also got another method for making fire. So that's why I carry those. Now, I don't carry the two in the same pouch. Obviously, that would be not a good idea. So cook kit with utensils. I talked about this once before. I picked these up at Walmart, but you can order them from just about any place. This is a little Ozark Trail cup, and this is a Stanley Adventure Camp cook set. I don't know if you guys can see that. That is the Stanley Adventure Camp cook set. Absolutely love these things. They're stainless steel. They're durable as all get out. They come with basically a locking handle type assembly for cooking with. This is a vented lid that has basically a strainer down here along the bottom here, so you could strain things out of it. It also has a vent on the back side over here, so you don't get things feeding back on you. And then it's got little plastic cups in it. There's 2 of them in there. If it's just me, I take one of the cups out, I set it off to the side somewhere, leave it at home. This gives me a little bit more storage space that I can use to put spices in, or I can put soup packs and stuff in here, and that takes up a little less space in my bag. So I use this as a storage container as well. This little guy right here is great. You boil your tea or your water or your soup in this, you pour it in here and you drink out of this one here. It has the little collapsible type handle that you can hold with that. You can eat out of this, however, okay? Utensils, important. The ones that I'm using right now is called the UCO. It is UCO. Absolutely love these things. My wife got them for me for Christmas one year. Never heard of it. So I'm not the only one that's, you know, running around looking at gear, thankfully. The one thing I like about this is you've got your fork, you've got your spoon, you've got your knife. So you've got all your utensils right there. Now, if you're eating out of a large bag of Mountain House or an MRE, the great thing about this is you can actually combine these 2 at the handle together, and now you've got an extended spoon to be able to get down there into those deep bags, or an extended fork as necessary. Okay, so it's got a little rubber toggle down here that helps kind of keep everything together instead of flying around in your bag or coming loose. So that would be the utensils. If you are looking for a more established mess kit, I call it a mess kit, but if you're looking for, you know, a food camping type kit, the 5-piece Ozark Trail type kit is very affordable. It is lightweight aluminum, super light. You've got a little cooking pot, a little frying pan right there, an eating tray, and you've also got a little plastic cup that comes with that as well. There are no utensils in this. Big drawback. I think that they should add something, you know. So anyways, that. You can use stoves. One of my favorite stoves is the Solo stove. This is a non-fuel stove. As far as what I mean is it's non-packed in fuel. So you're not going to be using butane or any type of other jet boil type fuel canisters. This one right here, you just put it in, you put your twigs in it, you station it up, and you basically just cook right on top of that. Okay, so this is the Solo stove. You can get the alcohol burner kit with this, which allows you to put high-grade alcohol or heat. If you're from the East Coast or you're from back east, you understand that heat comes in a tall red bottle right there. You can actually pour that in there and use that to burn and to get some really good heat off of these things. So for your consideration on that as well. I think that covers the cooking portion of the of that, with the exception of what I like to call is my spice bullet. So this is a little spice bullet. I know I've eaten everything. I mean, I can't think of things that I really haven't eaten in the wilderness. And I'm not going to talk about them on here. People would cringe, I imagine. But I got to tell you, it's great to have a little bit of garlic salt, some pepper, maybe a little paprika, some onion powder, some Italian herbs, or something to put on this food. It's a very comforting thing to have. You know, I can tell you, it goes a long way to making that food a lot more palatable. Okay, so that's called a spice bullet. You can find those in different areas as well. And in case anybody's wondering, that is a Coca-Cola lid on the bottom of it. The original plastic lid broke. So adapt, improvise, adapt, and overcome. So that's what I did with that one. So that covers the seasoning portion of that. Next on the list, we talked about stoves. A water-resistant poncho. I don't have my poncho with me. It is in storage because we are packing the house up, hopefully to sell soon. But poncho is a poncho. You can get the quick down and dirty ones. I recommend that if you're going to get a poncho, you get a quality one. So much to my chagrin, over the many years that I've been doing survival training and collecting gear, it wasn't until after about 7 or 8 years of getting all of these things that I really started looking at gear with the eye of buy once and that's it. So I was going for the low-hanging fruit. I was going for the cheap stuff. I was bringing it in. I'd go out and it would just get shredded. Not to ping on frog togs, the little cloth rain suits that you get. Yeah, try taking that through a briar patch. It just got ripped 5 ways from Wednesday. So get the quality. I mean, it takes a little bit of investment up front, you know, bargain shop for it if you've got that time. Use those coupon codes, do those different things that you can find using the internet or going out into your local surplus stores or community. But get it right the first time. You don't want to have that gear fail you when you need it the most, okay? I've product tested a lot of things. I can tell you just at a glance what's going to work and what's not going to work just from experience, okay? So sleeping bag. I do recommend a ground pad. You can get the kind of the corrugated waffle type ground pads that you see in most camping places. They're very lightweight. They're good in a pinch. It's better than sleeping on roots or rocks. You don't ever want to sleep on the ground. Sleeping on the ground will wick away your body heat faster than anything. And that's going to create a lot of problems for you. So a ground pad, I personally use an Exped, E-X-P-E-D, and it's got, it's fancy, okay? I mean, it's got a nice little loft in it. It's got silver impregnated down through it for warmth. I'm spoiling myself at least with that. My sleeping bag is a Snug Pack. I absolutely love Snug Pack products. They are well thought out. They are well made. I've had 5 Snug Pack bags. I've had one that failed me, and I told the company about it. They immediately sent me out another bag, and I returned their bag at no charge so they could do product testing and find out why the zipper failed on it. So they stand by their stuff very well. And then, you know, and there's other bags out there. Whatever it is that you're looking for, you want something that is going to be water wicking. You don't want water getting on it in case you got to sleep out underneath the stars for whatever reason. But you want something that is going to get that water from actually saturating into that. Hopefully you're carrying a tarp. And lightweight is always important. The Hike and Cure and the Sea to Summit pillows. I have, see, here I am having to look for the ground again. I forgot what I did with that. There it is. Forgive me for that. So this is a Hike and Cure type ultralight pillow. They're good. My Sea to Summit was way better. And I actually have another one, which is also packed away right now that I also use. But I like this one here. Basically, it's going to fold out and you've got about this much pillow space to rest your lovely brain on while you are trying to figure out what tomorrow's going to look like, or the rest of the afternoon, depending on your break. It does have a feature which I've only had fail on me once. The other ones I've had have never failed on me. And that is a little push button device that is inside here. You would click that to fill it with air, and it stays in there. And then when you want to decompress or compress this back down and put it back in, you'll click it again and then just kind of crunch the thing down and it will go ahead and push all the air out. You roll it up and put it back in. I like these better than carrying a like those airline neck pillows that they have. Those can compress down, but I like this because I can adjust the loft on this to my comfort. So if I want a firm pillow that night based on things, I'll do that. If I need something to sit on, and obviously this is going to be dependent on your mass, or I need something to kneel on, I can kind of adjust the loft on this thing. Obviously, I want to be careful where I put this down. I don't want to puncture it or tear it up or any of that kind of thing either. So this is called a Hikenture, Hikenture. So once again, Hikenture, and it's an ultralight pillow. I mean, this is what we're looking for. We want light gear. We want quality gear, but we want light gear because if we're hiking it, we want to be able to move economically and with purpose to get where we need to get. Okay, so that covers that particular sleep system. I get a lot of requests to go over and discuss hammock camping. Pros and cons to hammock camping. It's great. Pro is I get a fantastic night's sleep in it. I carry a war bonnet hammock, and it is probably the best hammock I have ever been in my entire life. There are a lot of other ones that will dispute that, and they've got a lot of new fancy hammock type systems, but really the war bonnet's fantastic. I've got built-in mosquito netting in it. I've got a built-in shelf. I've got a ridge line that runs down to where I can hang things on. I have a gear hammock that goes underneath my hammock that allows me to keep my gear off the ground if it's weather or inclement weather or snow or whatever the case is. And I put my boots in there, or I've got a foot box in that hammock where I can just sleep right with my boots on, and it's pretty durable down there with some extra Cordia type material. So hammock camping is an option for you. A tarp, you do need a quality waterproof tarp. And now, okay, I digress. Nothing is waterproof. Nothing. Water resistant, yes. So you're trying to get it as water resistant as you possibly can. Nature will find a way to, discredit your waterproof theory. So you want to have it grommeted. So you want grommets at strategic points. Some tarps are ready-made. They are super lightweight. They are ripstop material. They're great at repelling water. They even have attachment points for setting extra lines. And they even come with a little instruction kit that shows you different ways to set this thing up. Okay. When we do the retreat, I will go over different methods for setting up a tarp and why you would use different methods as opposed to just doing a TP type thing or such. Okay. So a tarp is important. I have wool blanket on the list. A wool blanket is something that is optional. Now, if you are in snow climate or anything else, you understand the importance of wool clothing, wool socks. And the advantage is that wool, as opposed to cotton or other type of synthetic materials, when wool gets wet, it still retains heat. You can still stay warm with it. Okay. And of course, if you are, Snugpak does make a similar pillow. Thanks for bringing that up. Also, if you're not in that kind of stuff, then the wool blanket is option. Okay. It does make a good fire blanket. if you get a good thick one, but you're also adding weight to your pack as well. Okay. Emergency blanket, Mylar ones, you're going to have those. Everybody's familiar with those, as we call space blankets. Those are, I mean, you can buy like a pack of 6 for like $2-3 or something, you know. Keep those, keep one in your car, keep one in your pack, keep one, you know, wherever you think that you're going to need to have something like that. If you're looking for something that is just for 3 days and you're moving to a different location, you're exfiltrating to another location to get to your supply cache or your bug out location, you may consider leaving your good sleeping bag there, your sleep kit there, and getting one of these guys, which is an emergency sleeping bag. This is international orange on the outside, but you can remedy that by throwing leaves over yourself if you're trying to do that stealthy camping type thing. And it is the reflective Mylar material on the inside. I'm not sure how well you guys can see that information in there. Very warm. This will get you down to, I think, probably 20 degrees, 10 degrees, but not in the minuses with this. Obviously, once again, it's better that if you don't have a ground pad of any type, that you can use a good bed of leaves to help retain heat and supply you with some loft. You can use spruce branches or pine branches or anything with the bows so that when you lay on it, it kind of adds as a little bit of a spring. But whatever it is, you don't want to sleep on the ground. That's even with this thing right here, the ground gets really cold in a lot of different areas. Okay. Open that up and look at it for you. This is just garishly orange, gold orange looking like. And then you can see the interior of it here, and you can see that that's got that Mylar reflected. So very good at heat retention. It's going to reflect that heat right back on you. But once again, you know, you want to have anything else extra that you've got on. Sleep in your clothes. You know, I don't know that this thing's going to hold up to having your boots inside there. It'll probably tear it up, but those are really important. So those little bags are great. We do have another product that's coming that I really wanted to show, but I'm thinking that it's probably going to be next time. It's a bivy sack that goes over that or over your other sleeping bag that is very compressible. And what that does is it adds an extra layer. It's extremely lightweight. I'm looking at a name for it here, right? It's called the Tact Bivy by Frog and Company. If you can see that right there, this thing is just incredible for weather, and it's good. It says waterproof. I don't believe that. It's water resistant, and it's just an emergency survival type bivy sack cover. So consider that as well. And then of course, you know, you want to put food and stuff in there. I am at one point in time going to be doing product testing for different types of freeze-dried foods. It seems like a popular thing right now. And if you're not looking at a lot of the YouTubers that are out there, especially in the survival community, they are blowing up, absolutely blowing up a lot of things right now about what is coming down the pipeline for us. Food shortages, you know, natural disasters, I don't know, just all sorts of crazy things. I don't want to get into that right now, but your meals are going to be important, obviously. That's what's going to get you there. Me personally, I can eat anything. I calculate things not by flavor, but by calorie intake. So if it tastes bad, okay, I just got to grin and bear it and get it down, whether it's came from anywhere near the ground. So, but your freeze-dried meals, you can get some pretty nice Mountain House ones. You can get some other ones as well that are really good. They have a lot of good flavor to them. They do reconstitute very well. And you can get yourself little soup packets, Lipton soup packets. I got to tell you, they're amazing. Me personally, I like the bone broth packets. And I tell you why. Bone broth is amazing for boosting your immune system. It gives you a lot of protein quality. If you do like I do, I throw a little bit of lemon pepper in mine, and I throw a little bit of garlic powder in mine. and then I'm out the door, you know, and I build those things ahead of time, and they're ready meals ready to go. Okay, so consider those as well. Basic medical kit. So a basic medical kit should be somewhere between 60 to 128 components within that basic medical kit. I can show you my medical kit, which is probably pretty advanced for what you guys are used to. But once again, this is like one of those little fanny pack things. This is a little bit higher end version of it. And I've got my headlamp that's in here. My tactical headlamp is in here. I've got everything I need.
You're a medic.
Batteries, but I'm also a trained medic. And there's a lot of things in here that I use, that I'm trained to use. That's really important for my job, for whether I'm, you know, for family, survival, or on film. This is the bag that I go to. Now, obviously, I have a much larger bag, which is fully compartmentalized. It's got all of my IV bags and all the important other stuff that's in it. But when I'm bugging out, that's something I'm going to take. You can buy ready-made medical kits and survival kits online. I got to tell you, they are great products. They really are. This is a ready-to-go survival kit. Okay. They look awesome. And when you open it up, you're just oohing and awing at everything that's in there.
I think that's the one I had last. I think that's the one I have. Just different colors.
Yeah.
Right? I think they all kind of look the same.
Yeah, they got that little flag that's on there.
Yeah.
You know what? For down and dirty, low speed, you know, high drag type thing, it's good in a pinch. What I am going to tell you to do is get this bag. This bag is fantastic, but and it's made by Kosin, Kosin. Okay, but I will tell you, there's a lot of things in here I would take out and I would replace with better quality items, especially in the medical side. So I would use, I would add triple antibiotic ointment. I would add different sizes of bandages. And the bandages I really like, especially for in the wilderness, are going to be the Flex adhesive bandages. And they also have a little bit of triple antibiotic ointment built right into the pad that's in there. So yeah, and I mean, there's even a fishing kit in here with a little bit of monofilament and some hooks and some anchors. They threw a bobber in there, but these are great. I can open this up and give you the ooh and ah appearance of it right off the gate, as you see the incredible number of Q-tips that are in here. I really don't need this many Q-tips. A bandolier of ammo, that would be great. But
right.
Now when we start getting into the heart of it, we are looking at some little chem light sticks that are in here. The glow sticks, as most people are familiar with. A huge amount of alcohol prep pads. I would probably cut this down in half to save space. You've got your 50 foot of paracord, and I've looked at this paracord. Unfortunately, this has got to go. This is not real paracord.
What is it?
There is basically shoelace material.
No way. What's the difference?
It is not 550. So you're going to get paracord that is going to be indicated and rated at 550. Okay. That is its static load. Its dynamic load is going to be a little bit less than that. So static load means that if I lift something very gently, it will lift up to 550 pounds. Yeah. So the dynamic load, or what we call shock load, is if something hits it or snaps it real quick, is going to be lower. Okay. Now 550 cord also has internal threads. It should have about 7 of them in there. They're rated at each, and then the outer shell. Okay. And you can pull those inner threads out. There's a lot of things that you can make with those kind of threads. You can make a gill net. My survival boots that I go out with, I get rid of the laces and I use 550 cord in there. And I actually put a little extra. I do like a 3-4 wrap around my ankle I've got 9-inch risers on my boots, and I do a 3 or 4 wrap on that. So I've got material there to pull off, even if I cut it in half, and I could still lace my boots back up. And I've got some 550 cord that I can use to piece together and do things with. Okay. If you have your 550 cord, try not to cut it if you can help it. There's, doing little knots and tying things off and cutting it makes just a little bunch of stuff. And what you really want to do is you want to try to keep it intact as much as possible. Okay. Yeah, but I'll cover that in the training. We get into this little fire kit right here. So we've got our glow sticks in here. You've got a fairly acceptable flashlight in here. It is LED. It does have a magnifying lens on it. I think it's about 100 lumens. You've got a little knife in here. I don't think I've ever opened this, have I? Yeah. You've got a piece of fat wood. So if you're not familiar with what fat wood is, it is highly resinous wood. And this will catch fire like nobody's business. So you keep this dry, you use your knife, your survival knife, you shave off little pieces of it, and that is your tinder. And it will go up just like anything. I mean, it really catches fast. It's got a little bit of a survival knife in here. There is a saw. I should just open this, right? Oh, there is. I don't have to tear it open. It's got a little access valve down here. Here's a little bottle carrier that it has, so you can get your little water bottle. It's got a belt clip on it, so you can clip that onto your belt. That's probably going to go. This right here is pretty nice. This is basically your fire bellows. So this is basically a telescoping aluminum tube, and this allows you to blow into the fire to get things going, so you don't burn your beard up or your hair or your eyebrows off, eyelashes, whatever the case is. So fire bellows are really good. I have a manual trick that I use with my fingers that I can show you once we get to the retreat. That knife is in here. This is your ferrocerium rod, also nicknamed as a ferro rod, and a striker. You'll notice that these come coated, so they are black. When you get ready to use this for the first time, you want to scrape that off, and you'll start to get a silvery material that's underneath it. And then you're going to, a good trick is to use the 90 degree of the back of your knife, which I'll show you, a very good quality knife to get. And you're just going to scrape that, and then you can scrape a little pile of the ferrocerium material down there, and then you're going to strike down. So the trick is you don't move this, you move this. So you're going to pull back with this. You don't want to strike out with this. I've seen so many people do it wrong. And the hazard in that is as you strike down, you hit your tinder pile and you knock it flying. Okay. So the control is to draw it back away from yourself. And we'll talk about that in detail, fire making, when we get to the retreat. It's got a little flashlight in here with a belt clip. I probably need to put batteries in it. So there's no batteries in that one right there. Batteries not included. This is the knife that came with it. There is no carbon or metal stamp on it. I would not bet my life on this. But as far as what you're doing here with it, you're fine. Okay. It'll serve its purpose as needed. And it is a locking blade. There we go. It does have a little carabiner attachment up here at the top, which is also what unlocks the blade as well. Moving to the other side, which gets into the medical side. Oh, here's that fishing kit that I was talking about. It's in here. You've got a little hand saw. Get rid of those right out the bat. You get a Corona saw. Oh, and if you didn't see the Corona saw from last time, I know you saw it on the picture. So this is one in real life. It has a locking mechanism here. So this is not going to open unless I release that locking mechanism. And look at this blade. I got to tell you, this is, the length of my arm. So, I mean, it's a good sized blade. It's got curvature.
There's a couple I saw online. There's a couple different measurements.
I really couldn't tell you the full length of this one right here. But if I'm going elbow to wrist, it's about 1 foot long. This is 12-inch blade.
Okay.
And it has what's called an aggressive tooth pattern for the back draw. Okay, so if you're new to these, the curvature of the blade helps you remove more material as it covers around the log or the tree or the piece of wood that you're cutting. And you're going to slide forward and let the blade and the teeth do their work to remove material. And then you're going to draw heavily back using your pectoral muscles, your deltoid, your biceps to really pull that material out of there. And then you're going to ease it through again. And then you're going to draw back aggressively on that, applying pressure. That's the best way to, one, save yourself from burning out, trying to aggressively and cut it that way. And then it also makes your teeth last longer on your saw blade. Now, the good thing about this is it's two-handed. If you really wanted to get in there and really get material down, you can use both arms, both hands on this to take that down. Very lightweight, fits in the side of your pack. You can strap it in, put it in the main compartment. Usually things like this, I leave on the outside of my bag. I don't want to have to get into the compartment of my bag to pull things like this out, especially if it's inclement weather. I just set my bag off someplace where it's going to be dry, cover it, and then I get the materials I need and then start setting up my camp. Okay.
Looks like that one's a 10-inch. There are 10, 14 inches, but there's no 12. And it looks like that's the 10 because the 14-inch one didn't say folding. So I'm just going to guess that that's a 10-inch one because beyond that, they don't fold. So I'm putting all of this on a list. I just so you know, in the chat, everybody, I put a Google Doc where I'm taking notes of all of these things and putting links in there for you. And then I also have a list that I created called Survivalism and Prepping. So I'm categorizing them all in there, and that link is at the top.
So they did get some things right on this. I mean, there's a lot of safety pins in here. So you've got this big old thing of safety pins. You got another big old thing of safety pins. These are really good for putting materials together if you're trying to do something makeshift with the materials you find in your environment. You can hold a laceration together with it, but it's kind of crazy to do that. Yeah, that's like 35 bucks. You've got, this is your little fishing kit right here. You can see in a pinch it would work. You can also rig up various types of fish traps to get things. You've got a whistle in here in case you want to be found. It's just a little aluminum whistle, saves your vocal cords. Small thing of scissors. I believe there's a sewing kit in here. So no, that's not a sewing kit. There's a piece of aluminum foil. There's a tea light. There's somebody even got creative and put a little, basically a shackle in here that you can rig up to run your gear line through to hoist your bag up or to temporarily rig something so you're not running it over an abrasive branch or any of that kind of stuff. So,
and that's still in that same one bag? Same
bag, yeah.
What's the brand name again?
Kosin, Kosin. Yeah, there's 500 pieces in this bag, and I would probably cut down a few things and replace it with some more quality type items. So, and it's gotten a 5-star rating. Get rid of this. This is what's called it's like a hand saw or a wire saw. These break all the time. Yeah. Probably getting all these things individually would cost more than what they're paying for the bag. So they probably get everything at either drop shipping or they get it at wholesale and they can afford to bring that price down. This little gadget's nice. I keep one of these in my bag. So it's a little tool. It's got a bottle opener on it. It's got a cutting edge right here on it that you could actually kind of walk around and open up a can with. Okay, you've got a screwdriver, you've got a knife edge point here, a little bit of a saw here. You've got a different size hex wrench head here, different size wrench heads here along there, small measuring, graduated measuring device that's in there, stainless steel, comes with a little card that tells you what all the little parts and doohickeys do on it. Lightweight, good little gadget. Probably wouldn't really take the place of a good quality EDC multi-tool. And this is called a saber card. You've got your first aid, basic first aid instructions in here, and then we're getting into your triangle bandage. You're getting into your dry bag, your Mylar blanket. This is actually a pretty good size one here. And then you've got this burn dressing. And then you've got all these bandages. So I would replace some of this stuff in here. I'd keep the triangle bandage. I would get rid of the Band-Aids, and I would get the good stretch athletic type bandages that are going to move with you, so they don't keep popping off. They adhere very well, especially when you're sweating and you're moving. And then you've got your burn dressing. I would put in also in this kit, I put some Benadryl in here, maybe an ice pack. I would put in probably about 4 or 5 gauze rolls, just to kind of wrap things up, a couple of self-adhesive ace bandage rolls, definitely a tourniquet. I got to tell you, tourniquets are amazing if you got to really control bleeding. Hopefully you don't do anything bad to yourself. But in a pinch, it works for snake bites as well. You just got to remember every 15 minutes to relax that and let your blood flow back out of your leg or whatever the case is, and then tighten it back up. If you're not controlling bleeding, you're just controlling the spread of venom.
And you also use like extra pieces of clothing that you can tear up and use as tourniquets?
Yeah, you can. You can definitely use that as well. You can do makeshift tourniquets in the wild. You can basically just kind of wrap it around there, tie a knot in the top, and then take a stick and just really wrench that thing around. Yeah, you could use anybody know what this is? Can we see this in the chat section? Anybody know what this is called right here?
Oh, I forgot it. I saw him last week when I was in Napa.
I'm going to show you how to wear it. Anybody know yet?
Someone said shag.
Shag.
Yes.
All right, brother. So this is called a shamag. Okay. And there are entire books written on how multi-purpose this thing is. It's a head covering, face covering. It's a tourniquet. It's an arm sling. And rig it and carry it across to carry a baby in it if you had to. You use these as just multitude of different things. We've even used them where we tied them around our leg and walked through tall grass to collect dew, and then bring it back and wring it out, and we collect water that way in situations. Okay. You can use it as a cooling rag. You can bathe with it, scrub with it. I mean, you could use it for fire material, but really it's got so many other purposes other than just, burning up and tearing up. So use it as a last resort for any of those types of things. You want to keep this thing as much as possible. It's good for head covering. You can get it wet, cover your head in warm environments, and kind of cool down that way. So that covers the med kit. Once again, I would add things, steri strips. If you're not familiar with steri strips, they're spelled S-T-E-R-I strips. They are the new modern age butterfly bandage for closing lacerations and cuts. You definitely want to get some iodine in there in order to, and maybe a little squeeze bottle of saline solution. You can use your contact lens solution to irrigate wounds. The thing that I always train for medical is the solution to pollution is dilution. So you always.
Question about that.
Yes.
Would you say, as far as contact solution, to avoid the mercury one, like to get the mercury free, because a lot of them have mercury? Yeah. You want to avoid that mercury. Anything that's got the mercury crap in it, you want to get that off. I don't even know why they still put those things on the shelf, honestly. Yeah, I know. But I mean, it is a preservative of a sort. They used to use it with vaccinations. They've now moved away from that as well. But you do want to irrigate your wounds. You want to keep them clean. You want to use that iodine before you close any wound.
And also remember, if any wound goes to the bone, you do not want to close that wound, because you do want to irrigate it, you want to iodine it, you want to pack it with ointment, but you want to leave it open and keep it dry and covered. But don't close that yet. As soon as you get to medical attention, they're going to need to examine the bone to make sure that there's no damage done to it and there's no infection at the bone or any type of material at the bone that got stuck in there.
That happened to me one time.
Yeah, bone infection will cost you your limb, your digits, whatever the case is. Okay. Thermometer is always good to have. A couple of pairs of nitrile gloves inside there. Barrier device for CPR for giving rescue breaths. If you're not CPR trained, then please do so. I am going to be bringing all of my mannequins and stuff. So if we have a moment for that, we can try. Hand sanitizer is good. And it also burns. You can also ignite with that.
I think I'll put something on the list too. And some of the prizes at the retreat will be my friend Trina Felber, who owns Primal Life Organics. She makes a hand sanitizer / bug spray. So nice. Which is really cool that you could use them for both.
Yeah, some of the best bug spray or bug repellents I've ever had have been citronella, peppermint, or any type of mint really, but peppermint's nice, especially in the hot. It's kind of got a cooling effect to it. Totally. Eucalyptus and those types of oils, and applied to clothing around your face and everything. You're not worried about something that's cancer causing, carcinogenic or anything. It's just natural stuff. Yeah,
I'll be talking about what essential oils that you can use while we're out and about. Perfect. So having you guys, I'll add some of these to the list as we keep adding to the weekly webinars, that you bring little spray containers, and all you can do is add some water to it and some peppermint to it, which will be good for cooling as well as keeping the bugs off.
Nice. Yeah, those are great.
Like good for ointment for wound healing, etc. Yeah, skin infections.
Your next on the list is going to be your hygiene kit. I let people dictate what they want for their hygiene kit, but it needs to be portable. It needs to be lightweight. Men and women are going to have different hygiene needs, obviously. You're not going out with perfume into the wilderness. Please don't do that. That'll give away your position to everybody out there. Okay, so don't do that. Prepare to get, dirty, smelly, all those kind of things. And then we'll talk to you about how to hide that, It's going to vary. The basics are going to obviously be a toothbrush, toothpaste, dental floss, which is multi-purpose as well as for flossing your teeth. Some type of soap. I like to use the Dr. Bronner's soap. It's basically a Castile soap. It's amazing. They got a great eucalyptus one. They've got a peppermint one, and they use basically it's a hemp that's in there as well. It acts as a bug repellent at the same time, and it's great for hair, face, beard, whatever it is. It gets you clean. And then you've got a comb or a brush. Some wet ones, wipes are amazing. And I got to tell you something I learned is the Preparation H wipes are fantastic. And I'll tell you, it's not that you got to have hemorrhoids, but it really, if you're going to develop a rash, and it's possible that you will, if you're covering, 12 to 14 miles a day, walking or hiking, those things are just absolutely outstanding for kind of taming that thing down a bit,
And also it's really good for skin. People have talked about this is really good for if you have
underneath your eyes. Yeah. Maybe you'll meet somebody else on the trail.
I know, right?
I gotta get spruced up,
In a couple of weeks, I'm going to be doing a webinar with hey, you guys just chill out.
Yeah.
I brought these dogs out on a hike to see if they would last with us. Yeah. And we'll see. We'll see these guys. I took to see if they would be good guard dogs and looked out for land in Sedona.
They're gonna be feral after 3 days,
They were terrible. It wasn't even that hot. I'm like, I don't know about these guys.
Oh no.
Yeah.
So another good thing to have in your hygiene kit is what I call a glide stick, and it's called Glide, Glide, Glide stick, and it's not deodorant or anything. It is a proprietary like aloe or a coconut type material. But basically it goes on in your parts that rub, and it basically makes a frictionless surface so that you don't end up getting a really bad rash You can use it in shoes if you don't have moleskin to put down for heels or toes or feet. You should have extremely comfortable shoes for hiking anyway, so hopefully you're going to avoid those types of blisters. Blisters are horrible. Anything that happens to your feet, groin, or armpits is always going to be bad because of the amount of bacteria that you're going to produce in those areas, and heat and moisture. So take care of your feet always. That being said, we talked about flashlight. Any flashlight will do. No, not really. You want something that can take multiple batteries, preferably. If you've got a solar charging kit, something similar to like this little guy right here, then you can recharge your flashlight or your phone or whatever the case is. They come in all shapes and sizes and price ranges. So you just find the one that's best for you and go with that. I do recommend solar. But flashlights, you want to be able to put batteries in them. Usually between 100 to 150 lumens is sufficient. If you can get one that has a red light feature to it, that is fantastic. My everyday carry, I think I showed last week, it is starting to get buried under here. But that EDC carry is also got a red light on it. It's a little bit more of an expensive high-end type flashlight. It's called an MT, Mike Tango 10 Alpha. So MT10A, and this is made by Nightcore, and it has a red light feature. It also has an SOS feature into it. But once again, this thing takes a 4,700 milliamp battery, and it'll put things out to 1,000 lumens. So I can really light up the night with it. But this is my everyday carry flashlight. It goes on my belt clip every day. Okay. And if you guys didn't see it last time, my everyday carry multi-tool is the Leatherman Signal. You can get a SOG, you can get a Leatherman, you can get any types of things. It's just that this one is built for survival. It has a ferrocerium rod on it. It has its own knife sharpener. The knife is a little bit more sturdier. It's a 420 carbon steel. It's got basically a hammer feature at the top here for hammering things down. Multiple attachments on it. In fact, you can get an entire socket set that goes to your socket system that's in this. So multiple tools that are available for it. Getting back onto the other things. Oh, the red light, I see a question down there. Red light is for seeing at night. It saves your night vision. If you're going to blind yourself with a big white light every time you go to get into your bag, or you're going out to go use the wilderness to nurture it with your bodily fluids, you are going to want a red light to help you see and maintain your night vision. You can get headlamps. That's what I'm going to talk about next. Here's a shameless plug for BioLite. BioLite is wonderful. I love me some BioLite. BIOLITE. They make fantastic products that are incredibly smart and well engineered. They have a BioLite headlamp. It's called the 750. That means it goes up to 750 lumens. So you've got some real good range out there to be able to do that. And it has a lot of other really good features that are on it. So if you get a chance, take a look at that one. I see some recommendations for shoes, whatever's going to fit your style. You just really got to narrow it down, try it, work with it for a little bit. And if not, then ditch that and go to the next one on there. Shoes are going to be dependent on your climate and your topography. Obviously, you're not going to go hiking through rocky escarpments with your Skechers. You're going to need something that's going to be a very durable shoe. If you're going to be crossing rivers and streams in the summertime, you want something that is going to have vents so that water can come out of your boot. In the wintertime, you're going to want a nice, warm, muckluck type or waterproof boot. I have probably 5 different types of footwear, and I have to change them out every season. So I hope that helps. Yeah, Merrell's really good boots as well. So that BioLite one. The next one that I like, I just got this one in. I product tested this one. This thing works great. This is an Eton, ETON FRX2 emergency radio. This has a weather band system on it for all 7 zones. which allows you to be able to gain access to local weather in your area that band is covering. If you're not sure which band it is, you can actually go to various websites and find out where your weather band code is at. And it will give you reports, climate, weather, incoming storms, or anything else. Also, if there are any emergency situations, they will be broadcasted over that weather band. So, if you're trying to get to a shelter, or you're trying to avoid a tornado or a hurricane or whatever the case is, it may give you some idea as to where you're going. Hopefully you've got a map and a compass on you as well. If you're trying to avoid those things, then you know where to not go, because there's going to be a lot of people going there. So that's entirely up to you. It's about $24 for this little particular unit right here. It is super lightweight, great features. It's got an alarm feature. It's got a clock feature in there as well. It is backlit, so you can push a little button on there. So the little feature on there is backlit for that. You've got AM, FM, and your cell. So you can actually plug your cell phone into here.
What's that one called again, Mike?
This is the Eton, E-T-O-N, FRX, Frank Romeo or Foxtrot Romeo X-ray 2. So the number 2, numeral 2. So you can dial it over to the cell feature and charge your cell phone from it. It does have a solar panel on here. This is the antenna. It also has a light that's here. I think it's somewhere around 60 or 70 lumens. I don't have to look at the specs on it. Like I just got it in. Great feature. If you don't got solar and it's night and you got to get a quick charge on something, this little hand crank right here also goes as a megger. It basically generates electricity in there. And basically you can get, I think about 5 minutes on this, gives you about 15 minutes on the radio. And it gives you about 8 minutes or a little bit longer on the flashlight. So if you crank it longer, you're going to get more. You can also, it's got a pass-through feature. So you can generate power and charge your phone at the same time if there's not enough already stored in this. So Eton FRX2, thank you, Diane. So great, love that. And I've got a bigger one. I keep in my truck. It's a big red one, got a big solar panel on the back of it, but this, fantastic for those backpacks, lightweight, really important. Oh yeah, another good feature. This is a glow in the dark ring around here. So after you've used the light, this lights up and glows for a good about 15-20 minutes. So if you set this down and you got to come back to it, you're like, oh, okay, there it is. Hopefully you don't make a habit of setting your things down too many different places, because that really gets chaotic. So if you're looking at size, that would be the size. It fits right in my hand, about like that. And that would be the thickness of it right there. So good little emergency device there. Let's move on with the, okay, so glow sticks, that goes without saying. Chem lights, basically you break them, you shake them, you're good to go. You're not going to use that too often unless you are indicating to somebody else go, no-go areas. So a green light would designate a direction of travel. A red light would indicate don't go over there. Okay, so you can use them for that. You can use them as a latch-DS effort in case you forgot to charge your flashlight. You've got another, light feature. If you can't find your radio with the dynamo on it that charges it, you've got that one as well. I will tell you this, digress back to flashlights. Do not get solar powered flashlights. I think I have one here. Let me look down. Nope, it's not in there. Hold on just a second. I've got one around here somewhere. I have had every single one of these things fail, and they sell them in emergency kits all the time. You will see these. That is the little solar panel in there. And this is not the shaky weight type one where you got a little dynamo thing in there that helps charge it. So that's not going to work. And they don't last very long, and they don't put out very much light. Not worth it. Pack the extra batteries, 2 or 3, get a battery powered flashlight, pump out those lumens if you want to, light up the night if you want to scare a bear or a mountain lion, and feel safe. This, not so much. It is lightweight, I get it, but not really reliable. Okay. Okay, so we talked about those things. Always pack extra socks, a shirt, and a pair of pants with you, just in case you get that other wet. I do recommend wool socks. Rechargeable flashlights are good if you've got a means by which to charge them. Obviously, if you've got this little guy right here with that hand crank on it, you've got a means to be able to charge it, as long as you have the right type of USB device to plug into your flashlight, your phone, whatever. I get these little guys right here. This is my multi-USB type thing. I've got a iPhone charger on there. I've got a USB-C, and I've got a micro USB type one on there, and they're separate. There's not a little adapter that connects to each one. They're separate. So I can charge an iPhone, a USB-C, and a micro USB all at the same time if I wanted to. I don't have to be one at a time. I don't usually have that many devices to charge, but this is made by DAMAV, and I'm guessing that's an O, but there's like a little symbol at the end of it right there. I'll hold that up so you can see it right there. And that is kind of an aluminum painted oxide type material, so they do seem durable. This is abrasive resistant cloth that is on here, so it's made for everyday life, wear and tear, that type of thing. Okay. So wool socks I would recommend. Fox River makes some really good socks. Darn Tough, cannot go wrong with Darn Tough. DARNTUF. F, maybe something TOUGH. I'm not sure how they spell it on there. I have the socks, I just don't read them. But those are good socks. And Darn Tough, it doesn't matter, for life. You wear it. Oh yeah, DARNTOUGH. So darn Tough socks. They guarantee their socks for life. They don't care what happens to it. They don't even care if your dog ate it. They will replace it. You just mail it to them. They send you another pair. So, and they are out of Vermont, and it's a really solid company. And these socks are as durable as they come. They are super comfortable to wear. You get them in different types. You can get them where they're a little bit thinner. You can get them where they're thicker. So you've got kind of a gelled heel and a better, a good foot box, and you can get them reinforced to where they support your arch as well. Fox River does the same thing. Costco. If you have a Costco around you, if you like to go to Costco, I try to avoid that place sometimes. It gets expensive coming out of there. But Costco has merino wool socks, which are pretty reliable. Okay, in a pinch, you can definitely get a 8-pack or a 6-pack of those merino wools, and you're good to go. But remember what I said: pay a little bit more for quality, buy it once, forget about it. You've got those socks for life. You paid one price, you're good to go. Merino wool is a type of wool. It's really soft. It's, teddy bear soft. It's comfortable. It's just a type of wool. Okay, so a dry bag, a 20-liter dry bag or something close to that. Basically, a dry bag is a highly water resistant bag that basically has I think Diane had one the other day that she was showing. I had one that came in this little kit right here somewhere. Man, I got a mess to clean up when I am done here.
That was us last week.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, so much for everything in reach, right?
Yeah.
I defeated myself on this one. So, but the little dry bag is just what it is. It's going to come, it's a bag. It's got a kind of a plastic seal over the top of it. You're going to put your items in there. You're going to fold it over several times. And sometimes you can buckle it around on itself so that it's got air in there and it kind of can move around and stay dry. Some of them have a Ziploc seal on it. So you're going to put it in there. You're going to push all of the air out of it and crush it down, Ziploc it, then roll it over and seal it. All sorts of dry bags. There's companies that make dry bags that are out there. Just look up dry bag and go with what your budget tells you that you're going to get. Once again, look at quality, look at product testing videos if you have to. Look at the customer recommendations, how many stars they got. Fairly reliable. Okay, let's talk about your leg rig or your knife. This is my leg rig. There are many like it, but this one is mine. And this is my cold steel kukri. They do not make this knife anymore. They literally got the metal from the region that the Gurkha warriors forged their knives in and made this. So this is just an amazing tool. I got rid of the rubber handle, well, it's still under there, but I put a foam tennis wrap and some tennis tape around it to make it a more durable type handle. This thing is a beast, okay? And incredibly lightweight. I mean, for as thick as that spine is, and this is 1095 carbon steel, and it's probably some of the best steel they've ever made. And the break in the wrist for chopping, I don't carry an axe. I chop down trees with this, and it does it just as amazingly well. So that's my big boy.
When Jamila asked about a sportsman pocket chainsaw, would you not need that if you have a good knife like that?
Yeah, I mean, this is really good. I mean, when we talk about saws, there is the Corona that I showed you. You can't fail with that one. If you use it properly, it'll stay with you. You know, you're going to snap the blade. That goes without saying. Another really good little tool to get is what we call, basically it's a field saw. And this one collapses down. So it travels like this. It's lightweight, high grade aluminum structure. It comes with anodized, rust-proof hinges. And basically, that's what it looks like collapsed. I don't know if you guys can see that, but what I'm going to do now is I'm just going to open this up, and you're going to see that this little magic trick starts to unfold here. If I get that blade, here's my saw blade right here. That's going to come out. Okay. I've got another little hook feature that's going to connect, and I'm going to try not to cut myself on this thing. Got another little hook feature that's going to connect here. I know, it's like I'm trying to get dressed in the morning. So there we go, that's there. This comes down. Hopefully you're not in a hurry for this. And then this is going to connect in here. Somehow it wants to connect in here.
If you guys want to ask Mike questions, because it might be back and forth questions that you guys are asking in the Q&A. If you guys want to raise your hand and I can unmute you and you could ask Mike, because I think that what you're asking is about what he's got versus pocket chainsaw versus other kinds of knives, axe versus large knives.
Yeah, so I'll talk about different knives. I'm going to get to that one, but the saw thing came up, so I want to address that while it's still fresh in people's minds.
Sure.
So basically, I've hooked it in right here. I've back folded it. Now I'm going to lock this handle down. You're going to hear a loud clack, okay? And then you've got a little saw. And this thing is lightweight, very aggressive, high tungsten steel, not tungsten steel, but a high grade steel blade. This one is made by Gerber. I don't get a whole lot of their products. They're just that kind of company. But this is a nice little tool. Okay. And these come in all shapes and sizes as well. The little, now there is a hand saw with the little loops on it that is literally looks like a chainsaw blade. Those are pretty good. But once again, when we talk about economy of movement and effort, you can't go wrong with that Corona saw, that aggressive tooth edge, and you can't really go wrong with that aggressive tooth edge either on there for bringing down small to medium trees, okay? So talking about a good knife that you can get, especially on a budget, it doesn't matter. Even if you've got the money to go out and spend $300–400 on a knife, you certainly can do that. But I got to tell you, this is a Mora knife. This is my companion knife. This rig attaches to my belt, and this elastic strap goes around my thigh, and I carry this cross draw carry on my left hip. And this Mora knife is 1095 carbon steel. This particular knife comes as you see it here, with this sheath, with its knife sharpener built into it. This ferrocerium rod attached here on the side. I added this little basically lanyard here just to kind of keep track, and it kind of helps retain my knife in its sheath there a little bit. The Mora knife is from Sweden. It is a modified Scandi grind, which is exactly what you want for bushcraft work and working in the field. It is a very supportable, very easy to sharpen knife. My number one go-to. I'll be giving away one of these at the retreat. This runs about $65 on Amazon, I think. That's actually a really good price. I've seen these as much as $85, $90. It is not a full tang. So a full tang would mean that this metal runs the full length of the blade all the way to the butt of the knife, right? So it's what we call a rat tail. So that means that metal is going to go in and it's going to taper down and end somewhere back in here. Okay. But, you're not chopping down trees with this thing. You're doing bushcraft work, you're doing feather sticks, you're doing camp work, whatever it is. I don't know that I'd really process game with this, but you could in a pinch. Razor sharp, holds an edge extremely well. And the knife is spelled, where am I seeing this at? Yeah, so it's Mora Knive, from the Netherlands. So it's M-O-R-A-K-N-I-V. That's all one word, M-O-R-A-K-N-I-V. And this particular model is called the Mora Black. Yeah, it's got a contoured grip. So you've got a nice little grip right there, and you can really work with that blade if you need to. The tip of it is enough to where you could carve wood, and you could carve holes into wood to gouge things out. Lightweight, really exceptional knife. Okay. Do I have knives? I've got a lot of knives. I've got I don't know, 120 different knives. I've got from fighting Puris to Golocks to bolas, all different types of knives. But this is what I carry with me, and it's always a Mora knife. Okay. So that is that one. There was a question down there about gloves. Yeah, gloves. A good quality cowhide grain gloves. You get the nice supple ones so they don't bind up on you too much. And if you're going to be out in cold weather, obviously something else that I can recommend for cold weather, both for your head and for your hands, is Outdoor Research. Outdoor Research makes some amazing products. My wife and I had gone to New York for Valentine's Day one year, and it was about minus 17 degrees with the wind chill factor dropping at about another 10 to 12 degrees. Boy, I got to tell you, we ran into a store, and that was the last pair of gloves they had. I bought those, and they saved my digits like you wouldn't believe. Because if you've ever minus 17 degrees tried to hail a taxi, you're kind of really wondering what you're coming back with on the tips of those. They get a little numb or painful after that. So, okay, so we're losing some people there. Next on the list, that's your Mora knife. It's always good. A good multi-tool. We already talked about the multi-tool. A can or bottle opener. One thing that you can do to economize your everyday carry is get little things that go to your keys. Okay. I've got a little tile locator here that helps me either find my keys or find my phone, whichever one I happen to misplace at that point in time. They both talk to each other. So I can pretty much, if I can find my keys, I can find my phone. If I can find my phone, I can find my keys. If I can't find either, then, well, yeah, that's a bad situation. So it's called Tile, T-I-L-E. Another thing I've got on here, which some of you may be familiar with, this is a military J0837, which is a military style can opener. I keep that on here. And so you can open up bottles with this thing. This is the can opener part right here. You're basically going to hook that into the top of the can and just kind of walk that around. High grade metal. I keep a little pro tip here. If you're going to keep this on your keychain, I keep a little rare earth magnet right there so that this thing stays shut. because the last thing you want to do is have this thing dig into your fingers or anything else when you reach in your pocket to grab your keys, because the end of this thing is exceptionally sharp if it's going to cut through steel cans. So, and you can get these at any Army surplus store. They're like, I don't know, 25, 50 cents maybe. Just pull them out of there, grab a handful and throw them in your bags and have fun. I even carry a little extra knife on here. It looks like a key. It's actually got a little blade in there. SOG makes this particular one. I'm sure that there are others that have it as well. This is quick for, opening letters, opening boxes, whatever you happen to need a small knife for at any given moment. And then this right here is my Exotech. This is a ferrocerium rod that is built in. It just hangs on there. It's a high profile, kind of a copperish looking one. And basically this comes off and there's your ferrocerium rod that's inside there. And then you're going to unscrew this one here. And you're going to screw this onto the top here. So now we've just double extended it. Make sure that this is screwed in nice and tight. And then you've got a tungsten carbide tip right here. And then you're going to go ahead and do your striking here to get your fire. So I've got a knife, I've got a flashlight, I've got a ferrocerium rod, and I got a can opener. I'm ready to go survive. Okay. I've done it with less. So no joke. That is for your bottle opener. A good thing if you're going to have a 2.5 liter bladder or hydration bladder in your backpack, it's good to have some of those little electrolyte tablets that you get. You basically throw them in there with it, shake it up really good, let it dissolve. And not only are you hydrating, but you're also replacing some of your salts, potassiums, electrolytes, and stuff like that. You use your knife to use the rod like you were saying earlier. Absolutely. My Mora knife has got a good 90 degree on that back right there. If you want to know what I'm talking about, this right here, the back of this knife right here, even though it is somewhat tactical, if it's black, they call it tactical. So it is kind of, this is not a powder coating. It is a stain that is put on here. So it is a good 90 degree, and that thing will just remove that like you wouldn't believe. Obviously, when I talk about knife safety, especially when any class, when we get to the retreat, this is going to be paramount. You always want to cut away from yourself, and you always want to be fully aware of people that are around you while you are using a knife. And they need to be aware of you while you're using a knife so they don't put themselves within harm's way or striking distance of this thing if you should happen to hit a knot in the wood and this thing just goes a little wild on you. But yes, that's a good question. I do use the back of this here for that ferrocerium rod. In fact, I prefer it. I get a better grip on that handle with that knife, and I can really just get some material down inside there. Okay. Can opener, bottle opener, water resistant, lightweight tarp. We already talked about that with grommets. Road flares, 2 road flares, that's an option. Obviously, if you need to signal for emergency, if you're trying to let people know, hey, I'm down here, or whatever case is, those road flares can really light up the night. Also, they're pretty good in starting a fire. Just, if you live in California, please don't use road flares. Okay. Yeah, those road flares are pretty awesome. They burn at somewhere close to about 5,000 degrees. So that's just a thought you can put in there or take it out of your bag. We talked about the paracord. We talked about the fishing kit. You can build your own fishing kit. I recommend that. I recommend getting the entire monofilament reel of 6 to 8 pound test is pretty much what you need for most lakes and streams. And then get yourself a little selection of hooks, maybe a couple of little lures in there, some weights, a couple of swivels, and you're good to go. Okay. And then when we get to the retreat, I'll talk about how to make fish traps or trigger traps for, catching fish automatically. So you can go about your other business, set some traps, and then bam, they snag it and they catch a fish, right? We talked about the spice bullet. Okay, so this invariably comes up. What about predators in the woods, in the wilderness, the mountains, whatever the case is? Probably the best thing is this right here. This is bear spray. Okay, now this is different than the stuff that you carry on your keychain or that you carry in your purse. This thing means business. It even comes with its own holster. It has a range of 30 feet. And bears do not like this. It really pisses them off. They have a very powerful sense of smell, and this really messes with them. It burns their eyes. It burns their olfactory receptors in their sinuses and even in their mucus glands of their mouth. But I will tell you this. No, we're not going to watch me spray this, not in the house. We would have to evacuate the house. This covers quite a bit of area. They have a new product out that doesn't create a cloud, so that if you happen to spray and you're downwind from your spray and it goes all over you, this new product is actually kind of a gel or a foam. So it literally sticks. But you got to be, you got to be a good dead-eye, aim on making sure you get it right in the face of your predator. Me personally, my head's on a swivel all the time, so I know my cardinal directions. I know which way the wind is going. If you're a hunter, you know to stay, upwind from, any of those types of predators. Or downwind, however you want to look at it. But it is effective. Now, cats, mountain lions, cougars, wherever you are in the world, they are opportunists when it comes to taking down their prey. They don't want to work very hard, not like a bear would. And most bears don't want to have anything to do with you. The time you have to worry is right after February, March or April timeframe, when the mothers come out of hibernation and they've got their cubs. You need to stay as greater than 300 yards away from any of that. And if you happen to walk into that kind of situation, I don't know, a bear spray will help, definitely, but don't stop. Once you deter that bear, do not stop running. They will circle back and come after you. They are extremely the most motherly creature on the planet when it comes to those cubs, and they will kill anything that gets anywhere near them or they feel is a threat. That being said, mountain lions and cougars, they will try to circle around. They will stalk you, and they try to get you from behind. So they want to be able to pounce and bite your neck and snap your neck and do a quick kill. They don't want to work very hard. It's that typical kind of lazy cat type thing. They want an easy meal. They don't want to have to be threatened or work hard or put up a fight for it. So here in California, and I know in Colorado and a lot of other areas, they actually sell beanies with eyes stitched in on the back of it. So this confuses this visual predator into not knowing which way you're facing. Here we go, right into the psychology of your predator and how to be safe out there. That being said, you can get some sick animals out there. Not every hunter is ethical. They can wound an animal and they can become overridden with disease or infection, and they can act out of their norm behavior. So once again, no product is going to keep you safe from that type of animal. So it always behooves you maintain a 360-degree situational awareness of your surroundings. Keep your head on a swivel, look, listen, and smell, and make sure that you are going to stay safe at all times. So anyways, that being said, that is—
Can't find any of those on Amazon.
You can't find any of those. Yeah, I don't think that they'll ship them. You're going to need to go into a sportsman's warehouse.
Yeah.
You're going to need to go into a sportsman's warehouse. Academy, I think, is back towards the Midwest East area. They'll carry them. I don't know. Actually, I don't know where we got this. We were going somewhere, and I'm like, oh my gosh, that's a great deal.
Oh, not those ones, the beanies with eyes.
Oh, the beanies. Oh, okay, yeah.
Yeah.
Make them. Just, this is crazy, but it's true. Just go get a little pack of those googly eye things and just stick them on the back of your hat.
Yeah,
they have sharp vision. They're going to notice that there's a set of eyes, looking back at them. I think bigger is better, especially at range. But they have, they hunt by that facial feature. So they know those things, So there is that. There is another way of doing it too. I've heard of people where they print their face on a piece of paper, and then they put a little elastic string through it, and they just wear it on the back of their head. So you can't tell whether they're coming or going, right? So there is that. Bear spray, leather gloves, and safety glasses. I'm sorry.
We got to start wrapping up, Mike, before.
Yeah, I'm almost at the bottom of the list right down here. So leather gloves and safety glasses. always take a pair of safety glasses. I wear Oakley's, which are ANSI safe, and they're also ballistic safe. I could take a 22 right to the lens and it won't shatter and it won't go into my eye. It may bruise my eye socket, but for the most part, safety glasses are going to be important while you're out there. Always protect your eyes from moving through brush and things like that. If you get a chance to get a bump helmet, those are great, especially if you're going to be around rocky areas where there's a chance that rock or debris or a branch or something can fall and hit you in the head. Travel with a bump helmet. I have one, and it just gives you a little extra boost right there to stay safe in those kind of conditions. And I can't say enough about duct tape. You can get Gorilla Tape, you can get 100-mile-an-hour tape, but duct tape is just multi-purpose for everything. I've even built shelters. Yeah. I've even built shelters with duct tape, just wrapping it around those TP-style poles just to hold them together. You can patch your tarp. You can use it as a Band-Aid. You can bundle sticks together. You can make a wallet. I mean, they actually sell books on 1,000 different things you can do with duct tape. So
is there a certain color we should buy for that, Mike? Like specifically to keep us under radar? Or is gray, silver okay?
I don't, for most purposes, if I'm bugging out, I don't want people to follow me. I don't want people to see me. So I've got full multicam kits, or I have weather appropriate type camo for those type of situations.
Okay.
Yeah, I just go with black, honestly. I even have multicam duct tape, believe it or not. Gorilla makes multicam duct tape, or PCU type duct tape now. And it's a godsend. I wrap my hoses for my bite valve for my water bladder in it, cover gear with it. If it's going to be silvery or if it's going to be flashy, I cover it with that. It's called subduing your gear. You want to subdue anything that's going to flash or give away or rattle or get snagged. So you always want to tuck in your straps, tape your straps so they're not dangling and are going to get caught on things. Okay. That's just
somebody's being loud and obnoxious and calling attention to your camp and needs to duct tape their mouth.
Right. Yeah. So another thing too is if you are in bear country and you are in bear country, it is okay to walk along and just talk to yourself. Please do. Hey bear. Hey bear. They sell bear bells that you can put on your shoes that ring, ring, ring. They don't like those sounds. Black bears don't. Most brown bears don't. The only bear that I know of that is actually attracted to sound is a polar bear. And hopefully if you're in that country, you're aware of that. Those things are masters of peekaboo. Let me tell you, they literally, polar bears will hide their black nose with their white paws so that you can't see them. I know they're deadly as all get out, but it's still kind of cute. So bug repellent, we talked about bug repellent. There is alternative types to DEET or permethrin. Definitely look at organic type of bug repellent. If you're not familiar with permethrin, permethrin is a spray material that you can spray on your clothing, let it set. It's good for about 6 months. It's good for about 3 or 4 washes. Any insect, tick, mosquito, spider that touches your clothing is probably dead in about 8 to 12 seconds. It literally attacks their nervous system. Do not get permethrin around any felines. It will jack up their nervous system. They'll be foaming at the mouth. They'll be walking funny. It's not a pretty sight. So avoid permethrin around felines. We talked about your ferro rod. A good thing also is to pack a Bic lighter. I carry a Bic lighter. I also carry some matches. I also carry cotton balls with Vaseline on them because they ignite really well. I carry about 6 or 7 different ways to make fire in my kit, just because I never know what I'm going to be coming across in what situation. Lastly on that, we talked about the schmug. We talked about solar batteries, solar panels. They come in all shapes and sizes. Goal Zero has some good ones. Once again, I'm gonna herald back to BioLite. BioLite makes amazing, very durable, portable solar panels that put about 5 watts of power out there. It's enough to charge your phone for an 8-hour period, or at least get you half a charge. And then last but not least, if you're going to bug out of your home, you should have, if you haven't already, stored facsimiles or copies of your important papers and scanned it and stored it onto a USB drive. You never know where you're going to be, or a friendly where you're going to need to prove who you are, whether that means by citizenship, if that means by birth records, or whatever the case is. That may be something that you need to be able to prove in order to get across that border or get into new territory.
Yeah, for sure. I one time I had a picture on my phone of my passport, just a picture of it.
Yeah.
And I had not, I spaced one time going down there for some dental treatment 3 years ago before I started going down there consistently. And I used my ID to walk across the border, just my driver's license.
Mm-hmm.
I said, I'll be right back. Never came back. And I was like, well, I guess I'll just keep going. So I went and did my thing for a week. When I walked back across the border, I said, I have no ID. I have no idea. I don't even have my passport, but here's a picture of it. They were like, no problem. So
That was cool.
yeah, it's really cool. So I think people get really paranoid because they've never experienced that sort of thing. And if you just, walk through there, like, what you're talking about and you're pretty confident. That area, Mexico border, obviously, when you watch the news, you can see people running across the border from the other direction. So it's still good to have. It's still good to have.
Yeah. Last two questions I see down here real quick. How do you stop a sneeze? You're basically going to pinch the bridge of your nose right here, nice and tight. So that's going to be right there where the cartilage meets the bone. You want to pinch that. And if you're hyper photosensitive like me, where if you look at bright lights, it causes you to sneeze, get some polarized sunglasses, and that usually takes care of that deal, especially if it's coming off of water. That really messes with me. Then the other one was Sawyer filter and Life Straw. Yeah, carry both. Carry both. Why not? If they're so lightweight, what if you lose one? You've got to back up. What if you find somebody that needs something and you're willing to help them as a companion? You can do that as well. And like I said, I keep things, I have redundant systems built into my bag for the simple fact of being able to separate my kit and have a base camp kit so that I can wear a scout kit and go around and look at my perimeter and set my traps and snares without carrying a big, 40-liter backpack around with me all over. So that's another advantage as well. So that covers the basic bug out gear checklist. There are a lot more items that can go into this stuff, and we can cover that in the weeks to come and at the retreat.
Yeah, awesome. And as with everything, unless you're applying yourself, this is just information. So we want to help you with the application and the implementation so that we can support you with the customization. So,
Absolutely.
many people, and many people